a trailblazer in the field.
A company organization called the TV station and said, we're having a big event and we want news coverage, but don't send that little colored girl over here because we don't allow them.
One of the first black anchors steps out from behind the desk to talk about the path she created.
The call to prayer leads to a call of protest. Tonight, the Duke University chaplain tells us how she can rebuild trust within the school's Muslim community.
These athletes may skate on ice, but their reputation is heating up. We're on the ice with Elon's club ice hockey team to learn about how they give up their time, but not the puck. Good evening and welcome to Elon Local News. I'm Ashley McGettrick.
And I'm Preston Willett. Tonight we bring you team coverage of Martin Luther King Jr. memorial events happening across the Triad.
Our Ashley Boley is here in studio to talk about a march that happened this morning in Burlington. Ashley?
Thanks. Nearly 200 people marched in honor of Dr. King today in downtown Burlington. The marchers walked more than 2 miles while also shedding light on some current social issues.
Well, we have come a really long way, and we are all very grateful for the strides that people like Martin Luther King made. And I've had family members who participated in the 60s marches, but we are a long way from the goal. We are still a good ways from the dream.
The dream is Dr. King's vision, equality and freedom for all. Wanda Johnson was among those remembering Dr. King.
Really mean to you?
It really means that we all should be in unity and harmony with one another in the world, because so much going on in the world today.
Across the Triad today, North Carolina residents are celebrating equality, but that wasn't always the case. Our Kaylee Tracy talked to a local journalist judged by the color of her skin only 40 years ago.
Sandra Hughes is no stranger to segregation.
I grew up not knowing I can't sit in that seat, I can't walk through that door, I can't drink out of that water fountain. And it was just, for me, that's what life was.
But it was a new kind of discrimination when she began a job reporting at WFMY in 1972 that would impact her life to this day.
When I appeared on the air, there was still a pocket of individuals who were watching who just went crazy. They thought, oh, no lady of color will deliver our news.
Hughes remembers a specific encounter while doing a live shot.
2 guys in the truck started yelling really nasty, mean names to me, saying, don't y'all have any pretty little white girls you can send out here?
After 3 years of reporting, Hughes became the first African-American woman in North Carolina to host her own talk show.
Hi, welcome to Sandra and Friends.
And when her career escalated, so did the threats. But Hughes refused to back down until her daughter got involved.
People would call and say that she had been in a bad car accident on a field trip from school and in the hospital in critical condition, and I need to get there right away. And, well, I said, that's it. Okay, threaten me all you want to, but not my baby.
Hughes says her worst experience came when her viewers taunted her about her deceased son.
And it gave me a lot of pause about going back.
But come back she did, going on to anchor PM Magazine and The Good Morning Show.
If you stay down, life will bury you and you'll never come back. You got to spring back up as fast as you can.
As for racism in America today, Hughes says we've come a long way but can still make progress. Kaylee Tracy, Elon Local News.
Hughes is currently a lecturer at North Carolina AT&T, and she says she doesn't have any hatred towards those who threatened her. To see more of ELN's conversation with Hughes, check out the full story on our website, elonlocalnews.com.
While Sandra Hughes left her legacy in Greensboro, others are leaving their own mark through service. Our John Curtis is live at the Four Seasons Mall in Greensboro to see what people are doing to help around the community. John?
Thank you, Preston. I'm here at the Four Seasons Mall right now, where directly behind me, hundreds were volunteering this morning. Packing bags and writing letters were just 2 of the many activities that took place at the Four Seasons Mall today in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. More than 60 Elon students made the trip to Greensboro Mall for the annual MLK Day of Service gathering. Executive Director of the Volunteer Center, Carly Swaim, says all are welcome to participate.
Well, our t-shirts say it all, is that anybody can be great because everybody can serve. And so that's what really his dream was all about, was celebrating diversity and celebrating serving our community.
Now, this is the 8th consecutive year that the Four Seasons has hosted this event, and Swain says it's the biggest yet. Volunteer Deborah Womack describes herself as
just a happy person.
She says she loves the opportunity to serve her community.
Together and clap, 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 clap. Awesome. You have all hands. Everybody's coming together, just working together, and we're having a great big party.
Womack says she hopes her service will be contagious to others.
It's a great idea. And just not having it for one day, we should be helping people every day, 365 days a year.
Organizers also hope this day of service turns into a year of serving others.
See all these people of all race, age, everything come together around service. It's just incredible.
John Curtis, Elon Local News. Obviously, things have cleared out quite a bit. Most of the volunteers left around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now it's mostly just employees and shoppers. Back to you, Ashley.
Thank you, John. Race is not always a matter of just black and white. Spoken word performer and filmmaker Kip Fulbeck visited Elon on Thursday for his event titled Race, Sex, and Tattoos. Fulbeck, a professor at the University of California, Santa Barbara, says that race played a key role in his upbringing. Fulbeck says the ethnicity he likes to identify himself with is hapa. It's a Hawaiian word for half. Fulbeck ended his discussion speaking about how he would like to see the world and people change.
I think when people have lived in a time where no one is telling your story, no one's acknowledging your existence, and you're given an opportunity to say something, it's like, oh, I got something to say.
Duke University's controversial Muslim call to prayer took place last week outside of Duke Chapel. The call to prayer is a traditional prayer called out from the mosque 5 times a day, gathering Muslims for worship. Despite protests, many voiced their support for the Muslim community. I look to see reactions from participants and Elon. Stand By Me was the familiar song being sung at the Muslim call to prayer, one that represents many of the views of people in attendance. Marty Rosenbluth is an Elon law professor who showed up to voice his opinion on the decision-making national headlines.
Well, as a concerned member of the Jewish community, I was very distressed to hear that Duke had canceled the call to prayer, and I came out to show my support to the Muslim community.
Last week, Duke University announced the call to prayer would be broadcasted from the chapel's tower. But after heavy criticism on social media from Franklin Graham, son of evangelist Billy Graham, the university decided to hold the worship outside the chapel. Second-year Duke Divinity student Robert Dinsmore says that Duke needed to take the nature of the event into consideration.
This is a faith practice, and it happens to be a kind of controversial act because this is what's happening in other parts of the world that cause violence.
Christy Lore Sapp is the Associate Dean for Religious Life at Duke, and she says she did talk to the Muslim students, but not until after the news was released.
I did meet with the Muslim students and Imam Zeb on Thursday evening, and we talked about it in person, but this was after the news had been out.
Hundreds did show up today for Duke's Muslim call to prayer outside Duke Chapel. Despite some protests leading up to today, some in attendance are optimistic about what this means for the future.
As with many things, there are fits and starts in the beginning. But people have come out and they've shown what they believe in, and they've shown that they can support each other.
When asked about potentially having an event like this here at Elon, University Chaplain Jan Fuller said, "Right now we have very few Muslims, although we would like to have more. Until we have a greater number, this will not be an issue for us." Preston Willett, Elon Local News. Duke University officials say that they have weekly prayer services for Muslim students and faculty that will continue to be held in the basement of Duke Chapel.
From religious equality to marriage equality, the U.S. Supreme Court says it will rule on gay marriage this term. Chase Blackburn is a member of Spectrum, Elon's LGBT awareness organization.
think North Carolina is kind of a funny dichotomous state. Like there are some areas that are really liberal and that are accepting, and I think people are like already kind of living their lives, but I think it's great to be accepted in a legal standpoint and to feel like your country's behind you.
Sneezing, coughing, and a fever, it could be the flu. How the Ellington Health Center is handling the recent influx of illnesses on campus next.
The health center has been busy this winter term, but that doesn't mean you have to sniffle in silence. Elon Local News will be right back to tell you where you can get medical help after the break. Last week, students were scraping ice off their cars. Now this week, the sun is shining and the ice has melted. Our Brianna McClelland has this week's updated weather forecast. Brianna, is this warm weather sticking around?
Thanks, Ashley. And yes, we're going to have this warm weather through the majority of this week. Today's weather was so beautiful, we reached out via Twitter to Elon students asking them to tweet their warm weather pictures at us. Student Mary Frances Harsh tweeted, quote, "It's a bright and sunny 60 degrees right outside my window." Today's temperature reached up to about 60 degrees like Mary Frances said, but temperatures mainly lingered in the mid-50s with no clouds in the sky. For the rest of tonight, it will hit in the mid to low 30s, so make sure to keep your jacket nearby. Tuesday's weather will be even warmer than today. We look to have sunny skies with highs in the 60s and lows in the 30s. Wednesday will be cloudy with a chance of sunshine. Temperatures during the day reaching to 60 degrees will feel great, but should drop down to the low 30s at night. For Thursday and Friday, however, you may need a jacket during the day. Thursdays and Fridays temperatures are going to drop a little with temperatures in the low 50s, and as you can see, Friday looks to barely make it to 50 degrees. The weekend looks to be about the same, hitting in the low 50s on Saturday and Sunday, but the sun will be shining, so make sure to go outside and get some fresh air while you're studying for your finals. That's all the weather I have for you this week. Preston and Ashley, back to you.
Although it may not feel like winter outside, winter illnesses like the flu might be here to stay. According to the Center for Disease Control, flu activity in the U.S. remains high. Here on campus, the number of cases have also been high.
Personally, I think I've seen more flu in the last week and a half than I've seen in the last 2 years.
But some students think getting a shot will give them the virus. Dr. Archinal assured us this is a complete myth.
The flu shot is a killed vaccine. That means you cannot get the flu from the flu shot.
Dr. Archinal did say that the flu is here to stay and can last until early March. She says a lot of these cases could have been prevented with a simple flu shot from a pharmacy. They are still available and are the best way to prevent the flu. You can get your flu vaccine at all local pharmacies. But if you're finding yourself having trouble with having flu-like symptoms, the health center might not be the fastest place to go. Today, the Elon Health Center wasn't too busy, but had about a 30-minute wait for most of the day. They do have fewer scheduled appointments during winter term, and they fill up fast. So if you don't want to try your luck as a walk-in, there are other options in Burlington. On Huffman Mill Road, you can either go to the Fast Med Urgent Care Center or Urgent Care of Burlington, where you can make a walk-in appointment or make an appointment. On South Church Street, your options are the CVS Minute Clinic and NextCare Urgent Care, which is only a walk-in clinic. Check out our website for more information.
According to Fitness Peak, exercising 3 days a week can help keep your immune system strong and prevent disease. And there is a new place to keep your heart rate up in Elon. Located in between Fat Frog and Simply Thai is Zentree, a mind, body, and balance studio. Zentree is a new studio offering classes in yoga, ballet, and other movement-type exercises like hooping and hip-hop. A former ballerina herself, owner Christine Foster's passion is fueled by teaching others.
The progress of my students is incredible. I really enjoy seeing them make good choices for their lives, become healthier, create a better way of life and better quality for themselves, and at any age. So it's starting from the kids' yoga class all the way up through the seniors' chair yoga class.
Foster hopes to become more involved with the university this spring with yoga classes on the Young Commons lawn. As for now, Elon students can register for classes at Zentree.com. These men have their own way of getting in shape. We take it to the ice with them. Elon Local News will be back. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
It's a college student's worst nightmare, running out of meal swipes. Now that we're finishing up winter term, you might be in this situation. Our Brooke Wivag is in studio with ways you can eat without breaking your bank account. Brooke.
Thanks, Preston. If you don't have all access, meal plans are running low. But don't worry, I have some tips so you and your wallet can stay full. First, buy food in bulk. It tends to be cheaper and will last longer. If you have a BJ's or Costco membership, grab some friends and buy food that you all can share. And if you aren't a member, a package of 40 bagel bites or a 12-pack of Easy Mac costs less than $8 at Walmart and can be easily made in your dorm room or apartment. Just remember to add water to that Easy Mac. Now, if cooking isn't your thing, check out the Retail Me Not application available on your smartphone. This app helps you find deals and coupons from more than 50,000 retailers. Retail Me Not can be downloaded in the Apple Store for free and has deals at restaurants, fast food chains, and retail stores. One way you can eat without swipes or meal dollars is to get creative with what you do have. For those of you who don't have an oven, heating pizza in the microwave isn't ideal. But here's a tip. Heat your pizza next to a microwavable glass of water. It'll prevent your crust from getting chewy. With your college consumer tips, I'm Brooke Wivag. Ashley and Preston, back to you.
Ashley McGettrick here. We're getting formal today. Starting tomorrow night, there will be more food options in Burlington. The First Baptist Church in Mebane has partnered with allied churches to have a food pantry available every third Tuesday of the month called Mana Market. The need for a new space increased last year when Loaves and Fishes, a Burlington food pantry, closed its doors. Allied Churches says they serve more than 2,000 people each month. Shannon Smith, Allied Churches food coordinator, says Mana Market will not only provide food for those who need it most, but it will also strengthen the area it serves.
We're also giving people in the Mebane community an opportunity to serve. This is opening up people, they can come in and they can help, volunteer. They can collect food. It gives, Mebane a sense of community, of helping their people. So that's really wonderful that they're able to do that.
And food security is not the only cause that the community cares about. Elon Cares held its 10th anniversary benefit concert in Yeager Hall on Saturday. The two shows raised $875 for Broadway Cares and Equity Fights AIDS. President of Broadway Cares, Joe Norton, came down to Elon from New York just to see the show. Norton says he's been living with the virus for 23 years now, and he stresses the importance of benefit concerts like Elon Cares.
Broadway Cares is really happy to have so many young artists and art supporters getting involved in our mission now, and also just adopting the notion that theater creates great change in the world when we all work together to do it.
While some students are performing, other students are brewing. One beer you're not going to find on tap is made right here at Elon. Our Alex Day talked to senior Philip Danley to see why those of age should have another round.
Typical college parties are not known for their craft beers, but Philip Danley wants to change that.
Another round, it's a name that you can't help but say. You go to a bar and you just look at the bartender and it's like, hey, I'll have another round.
And Danley's love for brewing beer didn't come from just anywhere. Philip, who is a distant cousin to Elon's own president, Emeritus Earl Danley, worked for his family's beer distribution business last summer.
Just kind of grown up with my family members in this company, and started working there, and just decided to go for it.
But brewing isn't just a casual hobby. It's a huge time commitment.
You have that trial and error component to it. When you're brewing last time and you were at this certain temperature, the next time you brew, you want to be 2 or 3 degrees lower.
After a 7 or 8 hour brew day, the beer is put in fermenters like the ones here for 3 weeks. The bottling process takes an additional 2 weeks, so it's over a month before Phil can even take a sip of the beer. Although some may be skeptical about a college student making beer, Danley says he hasn't had any trouble getting people to taste it.
I think a lot of people have seen that you can make beer that's just as good as what they sell in the grocery store.
While I am not of legal age, those that are have told me they want another round. For Elon Local News, I'm Alex Day.
Another Round beers are not for sale yet. You can check out when the brew days are, though, on Another Round's Facebook page.
And some students had another round of basketball. The Elon women's team was back in action yesterday playing Townsend. After a back-and-forth first half, the teams were separated by just 2 points. Elon made a strong push in the second half, beating the Townsend Tigers 58-43. Senior Zora Stevenson led the Phoenix with 16 points, while guards Essence Backham and Shea Burnett also scored in the double digits for Elon. Elon was strong defensively, out-rebounding Townsend 48-34. The Phoenix closed out the game with a bang, going on a 19-3 run over the final 9 minutes to leave Alumni Gym with the victory, Elon's third in its past 4 games. The Phoenix will travel to UNC Wilmington on Thursday to take on the Seahawks in their next conference game. And now we'll go to Zora for a tease for the rest of the sports.
I'm Zora Stevenson, and coming up next, Ashley McGettrick took to the rink with the club ice hockey team, and we'll have a look at this week in Phoenix athletics. See you after the break.
Ice has been making headlines around the country lately. This weekend, I caught up with some Elon students who weren't too concerned.
For the most part, I mean, it is a safe sport.
Brutality isn't the only misconception about Elon Club ice hockey, according to the team's captain, Nick Garfield.
Write all of our code of conduct. We change around everything, order all our own jerseys, do the entire schedule ourselves, book all the vans, book all the hotel weekend.
Being a club sport means the team works just as hard on campus as they do on the ice.
It's not like a Division I school that has staff to take care of the equipment and the scheduling and all those kind of things. Here it's like we have to do it all ourselves.
But Garfield, an entrepreneurship major, says he wouldn't even want the luxuries of a varsity sport.
I love the sport, but I would burn out. This is like I have a social life, school, and hockey. Which comes first is up to me, I guess.
And fewer practices probably are better, considering they're at 11:30 p.m.
Doesn't matter. I mean, all these kids clearly love it enough to come out and play.
Most club sport teams don't necessarily travel as far. I definitely think we put more commitment in than some people think we do.
Yeah, what he said.
The team is only 4 years old, but they're already moving on to some bigger goals.
First year in the league, we finished dead last.
But now the team is looking forward to their championship tournament in February. They'll be facing off against long-standing teams like Navy, NC State, and Georgetown. In the meantime, the team will continue to pave the way for club sports. Ashley McGettrick, Elon Local News. So I'm going to toss it over to Zora, who has our sports highlights for the week. Zora?
Thanks, Ashley. It's a busy week for Elon as winter sports hit their midway point and the early spring seasons start to bloom. The women's tennis team hosts South Carolina State tomorrow at 1 p.m. and then heads down to sunny Florida, where they will take on the Florida Gators. They will then face either the University of Maryland or Georgia State University on Sunday. After going 0-2 in its first weekend of the season, the Elon men's tennis team looks to rebound when it heads to the men's ITA kickoff weekend at the University of Georgia. The 2014 Southern Conference champions will play Utah on Friday before facing off against either Georgia or Michigan State on Saturday. Both the Elon men's and women's basketball teams are also in action this week at the halfway mark of the college hoops season. The men's team looks to snap a 3-game losing streak as it hosts Towson on Thursday and 2014 Colonial Athletic Association champion Delaware on Saturday. The tip time for both games is 7 p.m. You can catch me and the rest of the women's basketball team as we look to build off our strong win against Towson yesterday when we head to the beach to play UNC Wilmington on Thursday night. You can see us on Sunday when we return home for a game against Northeastern at 3 p.m. Now, from our current basketball stars to our alumni, former Elon basketball player Lucas Troutman is in his first season overseas, following his graduation last spring. Troutman signed a contract with the second division Spanish league team Peñas Huesca, and he's made an immediate impact. Troutman has played in 14 of Huesca's 15 games and currently ranks third on the team with nearly 12 points per game. That's all we have in sports for you this week. Ashley and Preston, back to you.
Well, that is all we have for you this week.
Make sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and on Wednesday, check us out for Elon Midday at 12:30 p.m.